Now that we have Akiba Backup installed, let's go ahead and make a quick backup of our website. So to do that, we're going to go to Components, Akiba Backup. The very first time you run Akiba Backup, you'll get a screen like this, which is the post-installation configuration screen. And it will ask you if it should run some preferences for you. I strongly recommend this. It's an automated thing that will make sure that Akiba Backup is running optimally in whatever system you happen to be running, whether that's WAMP or MAMP or you're actually running on a web host. So go ahead and let this run. It doesn't take that long. And once the configuration screen is run, this will go ahead and give you some options to either configure Akiba Backup or make a backup now. Normally, I would click the Backup Now button, but I'm going to show you the control panel here in Akiba Backup first. So I'm going to click on the link here for the control panel. From the control panel, you can know whether Akiba Backup has the most recent version of the extension available. It's got a nice icon right here on its control panel to tell you whether you're running the most recent extension or not. If this says that an update is required, you can click on it and it will automatically upgrade you to the next version of Akiba Backup. So to make a backup with Akiba Backup, you simply click on the Backup Now button and you can give this a note. When was this backup made? Any information about the backup profile, you can put in a comment. I made this backup before I installed a new feature inside of Joomla, or I made this backup at the end of the day, having worked on my website for a long time. I strongly recommend if you are building out a Joomla website that you run Akiba Backup frequently, because this will give you restore points along the way. You can always roll back to a point if for some reason you install an extension or a template and your website gets all messed up. The more backups you have, the more ability you have to roll back and redo something without potentially having to go back and redo your whole site from scratch, which you totally don't want to do. So go ahead and hit the Backup Now button, and Akiba Backup is going to run through all of the things that you see here on the screen. So we'll give that a minute to run. All right, so we've run the backup process and now our backup is made. We can go and administer our backup files by clicking on the link to administer the backup files. Or, of course, you can go to your control panel and click on the link from there. And you'll see that we have all of the backups that have been made here from Akiba Backup. They're all listed right here in the back end. So if we had several choices, we could choose exactly which one we wanted to download. To download Akiba Backup to your computer, you would click on this link right here where it says Part 00, and you can download that right to your computer. It seems kind of redundant for me to download my backup, considering that my WAMP is running right here on the same computer as where I would download it. So I'm going to decline to click on that link right now, but it works just like any other link for downloading information to your computer. Note that on the top of the screen, this gives you information about how to restore your backups. I'm not going to cover it here in this lynda.com course, but Akiba Backup has available to it a PHP file called Kickstart. Kickstart will unpack your backup and will restore your website wherever it is that it needs to be restored. So once again, Akiba Backup is great for backing up the data on your website, both the files and the database. And it's also a great utility for moving your website from, say, your local computer right here where you're building your website in WAMP or MAMP and moving that over to your web hosting environment. Now, I've just spent a great deal of time talking about Akiba backups, which are backups you make manually in the back end of Joomla, which I've just walked you through that whole process. This is not to be confused with backups that your web host might make for you. Every web host backs up all of the information that's located on the web host. But not all web hosts make those backups available to you, the end user. Always the web hosts are making backups in case the server catches fire, which does happen on occasion. They do run very hot. Or hard drive fails or other catastrophic event happens on the web host. What you need to make sure is possible with your web host is that if, for some reason, your Akiba backup fails, you need to go to another backup and you want to get a backup from your web host of your website, you need to make sure that the web host has that backup that's available to you and that they can restore that backup onto your web hosting space. Rochen, R-O-C-H-E-N, is the web host that I use. They do backups twice a day, and they can restore those backups for you very, very quickly. So make sure you look into your web hosting backups as well as making sure you have Akiba Backup installed and that you use Akiba Backup regularly to back up your website.